I've gotten to a point in my life now, man, where the Lord set me free from my childhood. It has no grounds on me no more. It doesn't hold me back. My mother was heavily addicted to drugs and alcohol, also different men in her life. 4, 5, 6 years old, lived in a household where there was no direction and no guidance, no real meal times or no wake up or bedtime. It was all just kind of as the day flows. Mom, I watched her get abused a lot. Guys would treat her like garbage and beat on her right in front of us kids. They would knock us kids out of the way and beat on us as well. She would, disappear for times at a time, a couple days sometimes. In that meantime, we'd have to put ourselves to bed, and make our own food and find things to eat. And she met another guy named Mark, and Mark was really violent towards us kids and her. For the first few months or so, they got along great, and it was almost like he was a good guy to have around us. But then their the addiction went to a new level with them two, and they would fight every day and all day, and he would beat her up constantly, and us kids would get in the way, and he'd fight us like grown men. He hit us with closed fists all the time. There was a guy that came in, one of Mark's friends, into my life then, and began to sexually abuse me, and this took me to a spot where I hated adults and I hated people. I was already skeptical of everybody from Mark and all her past boyfriends, just never showing us love. And this guy, he would do things to me, man, that no person should ever have to go through. Started to commit crimes now at a really young age, 8, 9 years old, and was out in the community committing crimes, and was starting to get violent and tried to react towards Mark. So when Mark would get violent and he would beat up a mom, well, I would turn on him and try to get him in the same fashion. I was just too young of a boy to really do anything. So had a couple charges filed on me against him, 9 years old, and was locked up in juvenile detention center in Des Moines. Real young for being in that place at that time. I was the youngest kid there. Put me in a boys' home up in South Dakota. I'll never forget that day in the courtroom. She signed me over, and the sheriff took me. So she just basically signed her rights over. And I took that personal, and I let that affect me inwardly. If my mother doesn't love me, I'm really screwed up, I thought. I loved it. It was the first time in my life where I didn't have to worry a whole lot about nothing. I had a bedtime to go to bed, a time to wake up in the morning, and 3 meals a day. They told me to go to school and disciplined me when I was bad. And them sound like little things in life, but man, a boy needs that. I needed that in my life. I finally felt safe, and the state releases me into an independent living program. So when I came out of the independent living program, I hit the drugs real hard, man, and the needle became prevalent in my life, and I started to shoot dope, and that's where life inside of myself got real bad. The nightmares that I was having at this point in life were horrendous. I wouldn't tell nobody. They were embarrassing for me at that point. I didn't want nobody to know what had happened in my past, because I thought that some of it was my fault. There were some things that I did to bring it on. For an 18-year-old boy, I was stealing big items, and a lot of them to support my habit. I'm sitting in county jail for 9 months in this Teen Challenge program. This Brian guy that my brother knew, I've seen him a few times, Brian Schroeder, he went through this program and it changed his life, he was telling me. So I'm going to go give it a shot. I went to this program, I applied for it. 9/11 happened, that Teen Challenge, and the trade centers fell, and I felt like I wanted to help with that somehow, so I went and enlisted in the Navy. The Navy took me all around the world in a few short years, but was still in my life at that point. I was driven by that boy, man. That I was scared of everything. Even though I had a tough persona and thought that I was somebody tough, I was scared and feared everything inside of me. Did a couple tours over in the Persian Gulf. I'd just gotten married to a gal from Des Moines. 3 months shy of my end of service date, I went down to Mexico and got some meth again. and the military discharged me with an other than honorable in lieu of a court-martial. I came back to Des Moines. My drug addiction was to the point of where, I could be good 4 or 5 months sober, and in 3 or 4 days lose everything I worked for. Just quick, and just not come home for 4 days. Severe drug addict. I made a phone call. Let me just call that. Let me call that Colfax, that Teen Challenge place, and see what is going on. Really began probably the hardest point in my life. Colfax was not easy for me. I got divorce papers in my first week there, man, and that crushed me. Because something in the back of my mind thought that I had a family out here still waiting for me. 3 children and a wife, and if I could just get my life straight, I could have my family back, the family that I've wanted my whole life. And I've ruined it with the drugs. The love of Christ, man, began to overwhelm me, because Psalm 34:19 was spoke over me, man. That's just where the Lord draws near to the brokenhearted. And that one little verse, them few words from the Lord, man, changed my life in a big way at that point. The divorce was hard, man. The divorce was fixed around how bad Justin was, and they just wanted to prove how bad I was, man. And then I'd go through a nasty court hearing and go back to Teen Challenge that night and have my feathers ruffled, man. And the staff would just come alongside of me, man, and just walk me through it and love on me, show me Christ's face in full. The Lord, we walked through my childhood now, so this is the first time in life where I faced my childhood, and I started walking through it year by year by year, and I would hear the Lord's voice, man. This is where the Lord's voice became so loud in my life, and I would just hear the Lord speak truth to me, man, and love, and he would tell me over and over, son, I love you, and I've created you the way you are, and you do got purpose in life. I've got your children, give them to me. And that's where my life started to change, man. I started to get happy again, and the joy started filling me up. I started to walk through my days joyful. The Lord has got grace in my life today, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life helping other people find that same grace and joy from their past that He's shown me.